There's a wonderful anthropologist, her name is Angeles Arian, and she studied indigenous cultures and healing for many, many years. And in these cultures, if someone were ill or not well in themselves, they would seek out the traditional healer, the shaman, uh, and she found that across cultures, almost invariably, the shaman would ask him or her four questions, four distinct questions. When did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you stop taking time to be quiet in yourself, to be meditative, to be prayerful, to be in nature? And when did you stop taking time to listen to and tell stories? You see, they understood that storytelling was essential for the human soul. They understood that without story, we wither and die, actually. So a few years ago, I came up with a term. I call it destorification. It's a close cousin of deforestation, and we know what happens when we cut down all of the trees in a forest and then plant very nice, neat rows of pine trees. The life of that forest never quite comes back. Certainly there are trees there and it's absorbing carbon from the air, but the rich, diverse life that you would find in an old growth forest is not there. The same happens in our life when we rob ourselves of story. When we take away the central fires, the places where we used to gather, to listen to and tell stories. So the question is, how can we avoid destorification in our lives, especially as when we live such busy lives in this culture? What does it mean to live an authentic life, to live authentically in a society which puts most of its values on material goods, not on spiritual or soulful goods? And then what does it mean to be fully human? So we believe that story can powerfully answer these questions, and it can provide a remarkable pathway for us reconnecting with what is most authentic and most true, and it has the most depth for us as human beings. Which reminds me of a story, one of my favorites. There was a rabbi, Rabbi Zusia. He lived in the 1700s, and on his deathbed, all of his students had gathered around him, and he was crying. And they were trying to console him, and they said, you know, Rabbi Zusia, you were as kind as Abraham and as wise as Moses. Certainly, you shouldn't be sad, you know, because in the next life you will be welcomed by God, and there will be only good things to come. And Rabbi Zusia shook his head. He says, I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm afraid. You see, when I get to the next life, I'm afraid God will not ask me, why were you not more like Abraham or Moses? God will ask me, Zusia, how come you are not more like Zusia? So you see, I think this is the central question for all of us. How do we become more of ourselves in this world? And I think that story helps us realize that. And I believe that story can open up tremendous potential for us. It can allow us to come to see ourselves in a more profound light and animate what is best in ourselves. And if we consciously embrace story and develop our story intelligence, we can open up a world of possibilities and become the author of our stories. Likewise, if we don't, our stories will be written by others. They will not be our stories, and we will be like a leaf flowing down a stream wherever the stream wants to take us. So in this session, we're talking about becoming a master of our story intelligence. And in the next video, which I'll share in a couple days, we're going to talk about the specific steps you can take, to actually enhance your story intelligence to become a more authentic person.